Yeah, I promised I would start by showing you a few pictures. We are doing the same experiment at home, and I really believe I will take one Sunday just to speak about what we are discovering. If you were not here when we started this, I just want to give you a bit of context. In the month of May, we did take 2 pots and we planted tomato seeds. And one pot was attended to, like we put water, and the other one we on purpose neglected it. And I'm struggling here. Can you help? So I think which one was it? What when yeah. This was the loved one. This was the neglected one. It's completely dry. And then we waited from May, June, July, and still nothing is happening. And then last Sunday, I asked in my group, how long is enough to not lose hope? This is real life. This is real life examples because we all hope that our projects, our relationship will prosper and that we will see progress, fruits. And then you wait, you pray, you wait, you pray, and then nothing happens. How long is enough to wait? Anyone? Until? Until you see results, yeah. But my point is, what if results not coming? Plant a new one. Okay, yeah. So I believe in the poll. Yeah, yeah. So I get the point. It's passive wait is not spiritual. Okay? And this is also what we're going to see today. Paul has a thorn, and nobody knows what that thorn is. Okay? Some people say Paul was half blind. Some people said he whatever. Okay, we don't know. But he had a pain in his body. But he didn't just wait for improvement. He said he prayed once, he prayed twice, he prayed 3 times until God told him, my grace is sufficient. I am the one sending this angel of Satan. Can you imagine? So that you will not be puffed up with pride. Okay? So he had the reason why the results, according to him, was not coming. God was definitely interested in another type of result. So what she's saying here, you just don't sit. Okay, maybe you're doing the wrong thing. That's why we're talking about intelligence, understanding how things work. Many people, they are in business, they don't understand how things work. Some people, they are political leaders, they don't understand how things work. Okay? So what we need is to sometimes sit down and just say, why is it not working? I think I have an answer. Let me show you the pictures. Can you see something? Okay. This is a bud. How do you call this? sprout. Okay, this is when the seed starts germinating. We planted, and credit to my wife. This is not me. The credit to my wife. She loves plants and flowers. Okay, so we did two experiments. One, we took seeds from a real tomato. We finished eating, and we took the seed, we planted. And then the other one was from the bag. We bought it from the shop. And amazingly, the one we took from the fruit was the first to come out. For your information, the seeds that we're waiting for come from Germany. They were not bought here in South Africa. They were bought in Germany. And so we don't know the... Maybe he needed the German soil. Okay. Okay, so we planted on the 2nd of July. And this is the picture 10 days later. Okay, and then 5 days later, on your left, you have the seed from the real tomato, the fruits. We know where it comes from. And then eventually, the one from Checkers started growing. And you see the one from Checkers. Did you put more seeds? Okay. So all of them came out eventually, but we waited 10 days. We didn't see anything for 10 days until all of a sudden we saw that beautiful little sprout. Okay? So I just wanted to show you that sometimes don't lose hope, but change your perspective. Okay? Maybe, and by the way, this is on the balcony. Can you see it through? Okay, this is on the balcony. So whenever the sun up there, the sun is shining in here. Those, I don't know, maybe they've never seen the sun. They just stay there. Okay, so we will take time to see what God is teaching us through this experiment, because this is supposed to represent our spiritual lives. Okay? My point is, at the end of the day, when we eat the fruit, it won't be free. We will sell the tomato. How much is a tomato at the shop? 6? Sure, that's expensive.
In Brooklyn, it's 10 rand, 5 tomatoes.
Okay. It's better than nothing. So I will sell the tomato. It won't be free. How many? 1 tomato. Okay. Do you know how many tomatoes we get from one plant?
Depending how big and how
Okay. I even learned that when you talk to your plant, when you touch it, I've seen a miracle. We had a dying plant, and then we had Mario. I don't know if you remember Mario. He came to our place, and he took the plant by him, and he started talking to the plant, touching the plant. And the plant that was dying in our house came back to life in his house. That was amazing. So if you want many tomatoes, you have a new friend to talk to. Anyways, I wanted to say something. I have lost the thread. Anyways, okay, back to what we want to do today. I stole this one from my wife WhatsApp status, because this is what we are talking about. Who understands what this picture is about? So it's the day I need the, the laser. I forgot it in my bag up there. We should maybe tie it here. Anyways, I can use the electronic one. This is water. This is also water. Okay? We can read the water on the left, but if you never paid attention to your chemistry teacher at school, you won't know that H2O is also water. Now, this man is dying, is starving. He needs water badly. Okay? But that water is 9 kilometers away. This water is just 50 meters away. But he's going that direction because he never paid attention to the teacher. He would have known that H2O is also water. And he would have saved his life. Okay? So this is how knowledge can be important for us. And then at the bottom it is knowledge is power. The more you learn, the more you can make decisions that guide your life in the right direction. And the scriptures that I have for you today, one is from Galatians chapter 6, verse 7. This is Paul speaking. And he says, do not be deceived. God cannot be mocked. A man reaps what he sows. A man reaps what he sows. Okay? And then Jesus now in Luke 16. Thank you. This is what I want to talk about today. I want to talk about pragmatism. See? I could have been complaining about not having this, but somebody was pragmatic and quickly went to my office and got me the result. Okay? So for the sake of his effort, I want to quickly come back to this one and show you what I wanted to show you, the water in English and the water in chemistry. Okay? Thank you, Christian. Now, Jesus told a story, and I believe this is one of the least understood story in the Bible. He said it was a long story. I think we all know the story. But at the end, this is what Jesus said to the disciples. The master praised the dishonest manager. How can you praise a dishonest manager? Why? For being so clever. This is Jesus telling the story. And he says, worldly people are more clever than spiritual-minded people when it comes to dealing with others. This is harsh. This is rude, Jesus. People who come to church are less clever, this is what Jesus is saying, that the worldly people. The message says street people are more shrewd, more smart than the spiritual-minded people. And I've noticed every time when Jesus speaks about understanding and intelligence, he used tough words. Last Sunday we saw that Jesus pronounced a curse on the Pharisees because they kept the key that would give access to knowledge. This is how Jesus considered the importance of knowledge. Okay? Now, let me share a bit of my story. I got my calling to serve God in 1987. At that time, I was on my way to study engineering. And then when I came back in 2002, they ordained me as a pastor. And because it was the custom at that time, I thought at some point I would have to leave my job, leave everything, and become a pastor. Then I got a couple from America, they came and they gave a prophetic word. God said, I'm giving you a stick in the kingdom and a stick in the business. Okay? So that changed my plan completely because I was preparing. At that time, we were very zealous. I pastored my first church. I was just 22, 23 years. And we loved the world like crazy. But now the Lord is saying, kingdom, business. So 2002, I started a company. And we started it in one small room in our small house. It was not easy. We just got married, and I remember that room was so dusty, and there was an air con, back home it's very hot. We had that air con, but sometimes I was wondering, why do we have this air con? It's actually blowing hot. I needed a bottle of cold water when there was a client coming just to make sure there's a bit of cold coming out. Long story short, that business grew so quick, I was not prepared. I didn't know admin, I didn't know finance, I didn't know how to manage a company. And then we moved from that small room in our house. Overnight, we rented a whole floor. We had a training center. So it was going so quick. That was crazy. I said, God, what are you doing? I'm not prepared. I'm just a passionate in whatever my area is. And I was realizing this is too much for me. I had to take a decision. I remember my first job was in the telecom. I worked for a cellular company called Comcel. And in that company, there was a brilliant man. He was the CFO, Chief Financial Officer. He was in charge of admin and finance. And I was dreaming, literally dreaming, because that was a big company. He was a big man. I said, I love that man. He was so skilled, so expert in this domain. What if he could just come and help us a bit? Help us, teach us how to manage all this. But I couldn't afford that guy. He was a CFO in a very big company. And then an idea came to me. Maybe I cannot afford him, but I can ask him to come and do an audit. What do we do wrong? What do we do right? And then I pick up my phone, call him. If you don't ask, the answer will always be no. Sometimes you need to take your courage and ask. I say, sir, this is our situation. Can you come and just tell us what we're doing wrong, what we're doing right, and what are we supposed to do? And he said, yes. Oh, Christian, how are you doing? Long time. I will come and help you. And he came. And it took 3 weeks. He went through everything. And then he wrote a big report. This is what you need to fix. This is what system you need to put. This is the structure you need to do. And I read the report and said, oh. And he even put the figures. He said, if you do things exactly as I'm telling you, this is where you will be in 3 years' time. I say, wow. Then I took my courage. I say, sir, are you sure if we do what you said, we will be at this point in 3 years? And he said, yes. He said, but if we get there, then we'll be able to afford you. Can you come and work with us? And he said, yes. That man came. He became the CFO of a company that just got started up. And he helped us structure. He helped us like it became a real company. hiring, growing, servicing, and people were flying from countries to come to get training and certification exams in that place. And I learned two things, and this is what I want to share with you. And I believe this will help. I talk to people in the church. I know many people have reached a plateau where they need to unlock the next level. And I believe the two principles and laws that I want to share with you helped me. It's the law of the lead. You know the lead, okay? Creating synergy with the law. I will explain. And the law of the lever or the Pareto law, 20-80. What small efforts can I do to generate a big results? Okay? So in the story I just told you, if I had called that guy to come and work for us, it's too big of a jump. But come do an audit, it's a small effort, but I knew if we can get that small thing, the result would be huge. And this is exactly what happened. Okay? Sometimes we spread our efforts in so many things and we miss the little effort, the right effort that we need to do so that we can see the big result. But the most important is the second one. And I'm going to give you a formula. Leadership level 4 can only lead results number 4. Let me say this again. If your level of leadership is level 4, you can only yield result at the level 4. And the mistake people do, all these big companies, the Google, the Facebook, they've always started in a garage. I tick that box. And they had a friend. They never started alone. They had that synergy. But the mistake we do, we go to people who have the same level as us or lower, which means level 4 plus level 3 result still 4. They're not bringing you high. And sometimes they're draining you down and you don't even know. Level 4, still level 4. But level 4 plus level 10 equals result number 10. So they will pull you up. And this is not from me. This is from the book, The 21 Laws of Leadership by John Maxwell. The principle of the lead says your results are locked up by the level of leadership that you have. Amen? Are we together? So just by putting these two things, it helped me unlock the next level. Okay? Synergy with somebody that can bring me. That's why I believe in mentorship like crazy. And don't get mentored by somebody who is less level. They will drag you down. Get someone who has done something. Unfortunately, there's a lot of cosmetic. People know how to talk, but sometimes there is nothing behind. Okay? So it's important to do mentorship. That's Jethro in the Bible. Moses was a spiritual leader up there, but he needed his father-in-law to come and help him. Okay? I want to suggest to you, and I will just stop here. There's a lot I need to say, but you can see the notes in the app, but I want just to suggest to you something here. When we speak about knowledge, what do you need to know? There's so much to know and to learn. But the way I approach it is to narrow it and define life as an exchange of value. Everything that happens in life, if you get this, this will help you for the rest of your life. Everything that happens, even this, and I will explain, it's an exchange of value. If you need to succeed, you need to understand in this transaction where I'm exchanging value, who is the buyer, who is the seller, and who is the product. When you figure out that correctly, you can fail in that transaction. Even when you get married to somebody, you're actually entering in an exchange of value, in a commerce, in a business. Even God is a businessman. No blessing in the Bible comes without a condition. In Exodus 19, he says, if you obey, then you will be my royal family. Okay? So God will always give you a condition. Even salvation, you still have to believe and declare with your mouth. There's an exchange of value. The value you bring on the table is the faith to believe and to declare. And I told you in the morning, those who prayed with us, God is the consumer of our faith. He eats our faith. When you trust him, you're actually feeding him. Okay? So even with God, there is value we bring, and it's fair value in the sense you can never repay God. But the joy I get when I carry my grandson, what you feel, it's a fair, and that little smile that he would give me, it's a fair value exchange. I know he cannot give me much, but that smile only, I'm a grandpa. And this you cannot describe. Okay? Now, I'll let you with this one and then I'll be out of your way. When you have a frustration, I'll finish here. When you have a frustration, and life, day after day, we get frustrated. You need to ask yourself, number one, what is the level of needs that is bringing this frustration to me? Okay? On the board, you have, this is all the needs you can have in your life. First, you need to eat, survival. Number two, you need safety. Number three, you need belonging. And if you have not eaten, you don't care about your friends and your relationship. When you finish belonging, you need esteem, respect. When you finish that, at the top of the pyramid is realizing your potential, self-actualization. So every frustration in life, start by saying, which one is it? Where am I struggling? If you're a married person, you struggle essentially with these two. Men we like esteem. I felt I was not respected. Women are mostly struggling here. Belonging. Communication. Feeling that they are part of a team. And men, we fail here to them and we fail. Now, the secret I want to share with you before I get out of your way. Your frustration can only be solved if you create value for the frustration of someone else. I will explain that. If you get this right, you will know how to deal with your marriage, your business, even your own need. Naturally, when we are frustrated, we look for a scapegoat. Okay? If you frustrate me, I will not, the first thing that comes to my mind is not to go and resolve somebody else's frustration. You have frustrated me, you must apologize, you've done wrong to me, da-da-da. Okay? But the secret I want to, we don't read the Bible. That's why I tell people, don't read what you believe what you read. You know, David and Goliath is not for Sunday school, eh? David needed a wife. So when he killed Goliath, he asked 3 times, what did the king promise to the person? So he had to solve the frustration of King Saul by killing Goliath so that he could reach to solve his own frustration, becoming the son-in-law of the king. Don't forget, he was a neglected kid. They forgot him when time of anointing was coming. Okay? So he understood that my frustration, I want that wife. Not any wife, the daughter of the king. But to get there, I have to solve the frustration of the king. Okay? I will explain this because if you understand this, your paradigm, your perspective in life will change completely. Every problem you will have, just put it in the lens of an exchange of value. Understand, where is my frustration coming from? Who is the buyer? Who is the seller? Who is the value? And when you understand that, it shifts everything else, and you start now seeing the world in terms of solutions. Amen?